photographing the way I do, but with my colors, this will change everything.
I got to see each frame, each position of its wing, and they're so beautiful that I have never seen before.
Being able to move quickly and working at my brain's pace and getting those shots in the moment. Having this camera allows you to go out and create the way you want to create.
Until you use it, you cannot even imagine what you have missed.
It's something I've never seen before in my entire life. It's something totally different.
Nikon Z6 III. Outperform.
Introducing ISO Color Edge. Precision is essential for any professional working with images. Whether you're an artist, a retoucher, or a visual effects specialist, you need to know that what you see at the start of a project is precisely what you'll get at the end. Color Edge monitors give consistent, reliable accuracy that guarantee no surprises within your color workflow. So what you see in real life is what you see on screen, and what you see on screen is what you see in real life. That's precisely why professionals all over the world trust ISO Color Edge for their image creation. ISO Color Edge. Discover living, breathing color.
Good morning and welcome to the judging of the 11th, I think we're up to now, Australian Photographic Prize category. So we are now looking at the macro category. I tell you what, we've had a great weekend of judging and now we're up to nightly sessions. So wherever you're tuning in from, I'm so glad that you're here to enjoy some of the finest macro photography there is around. I'm here on behalf of our 2025 competition director, Daniel Bingham, and director of judging, Chris Anderson, who have worked really hard to bring this year's awards together. Also, thanks to Nathan Bingham, who's running the live stream, and Helen, our scribe. In Australia, we open events like this with an acknowledgement of country. I'd like to acknowledge the Wurundjeri Wurrung Wurrung people of the Kulin Nation, the traditional custodians on the land on which this event is hosted today. We pay our respects to their elders, past, present, and emerging. We'd like to thank our sponsors for their contributions to the prize. A huge thank you to our major sponsor, Nikon Australia. They're giving away $5,000 worth of Nikon gear to our overall winner. Special shout out to Julie, Kylie, and the team. Thank you so much for your ongoing support. Also, big thank you to our division sponsors, AZO, who are supporting the 2025 Creative Photographer of the Year with a monitor valued over $2,500, KL and Godox, who are sponsoring the Classic division, and Ilford for sponsoring the Single Capture division. Also, big thank you to Photography Studies College, who are offering a $1,500 scholarship for our High School Photographer of the Year. That's right, we're supporting the next generation of photographers. How cool is that? And to Print Shop, who are sponsoring our Student Photographer of the Year with a print consultation and 2 A1 prints valued at $500. Can you please take a moment, check out their websites, tag them in your posts, and show them some love? Their support is truly valued by the photographic community. Thank you to our sponsors. So here's how tonight's session will run. Each finalist will be assessed live by our expert panel in real time, and they will give commentary, insights, and challenges. Scores will be displayed on the screen as we go. And once all the images are judged, our panel will deliberate offline to determine first, second, and third places. These will be revealed next Sunday, so only a week to go, people, on the 20th of July. So mark it in your diaries. But before we get started with our judging, we're going to have a look at the top 30 macro finalists. Over to you, Nathan. I now have the honour of introducing our panel mentor for tonight, Scott Johnson. Scott is a UK-based photographer, educator, and international judge, best known for his high-energy wedding work and his irrepressible sense of humour. I think we're going to be hearing a bit of that tonight. Scott is a fellow of the Societies of Photographers, a Grand Master with the Societies, and an Icon Master. Welcome, Scott. Thanks so much for joining us.
Hey, thanks for having me back. It's great to be here. Thank you. So I just want to welcome everybody to this session with the macro. We have 30, I think you've seen there's some incredible images that we're going to be going through. And to do that, we have an esteemed group of judges, a gaggle of judges, if you will. We're going to start by introducing these to you. We have Ari Rex. Ari is an internationally acclaimed award-winning photographer and educator based in Canberra, specializing in landscape and astro landscape photography. For over a decade, he has led popular Milky Way workshops, helping hundreds of photographers master their sky technique. He's also had high-end corporate clients such as Cathay Pacific and the Australian government. Welcome, Ari. My friend Gemma's right here in Essex, England, the UK. Gemma is a force. Gemma has 2 fellowships with the societies here in the UK and only very recently got her 2nd fellowship in macro photography. She is a judge for her honesty, kindness and humility, and I can't wait to have her on the panel. We also have Joe Howe from all the way down in Australia. We have, I can find her very quickly. There she is. She's based in Melbourne, a degree in scientific and industrial photography, works full-time wildlife and pet photographer, holds a master AIPP, double master with the NED-IPP, and is a previous winner and has won more things than I can count on a Facebook message. So congratulations, we're looking forward to her. We have Mel Sinclair. Mel Sinclair is a photographer and artist from Ipswich, Queensland, not Suffolk in the UK, specialising in landscape and creative imagery. Drawn to moody and misty scenes, her work often emerges from the midst of happy stands. Happy stands, I can't even read. I put my glasses on. The chance of discovery of places that speak through light, atmosphere and emotion. Last year, her image, The Bogans Ballet, won the prestigious Santhorpe Art Prize. Welcome, Mel. Nuran from New South Wales. Nuran is a traveller, writer, cultural guide and commercial photographer specialising in jewellery, architecture and corporate imagery. His personal work explores memory, aesthetics and the philosophy of slow travel, drawing on years of exploration across the Middle East, Central Asia and the Balkans. Welcome, Nuran. Peter Barnes is in the house. Peter Barnes is a commercial photographer based in Adelaide, South Australia, specialises in architectural and industrial photography. His work in this field has won the AIPP Commercial Photographer of the Year in South Australia 3 times and was awarded the AIPP Master Photographer with Gold Bar. He is a living legend right here, people. And then we're going to finish it up. We have, oh, it's crashed. It's crashed. We have Mark Z. Mark Z is just awesome. I think Mark used to be in charge of the judging right here. He's a commercial and industrial photographer, educator based in southern ranges of Australia, AIPP master photographer. People keep chatting, so the Zoom chat keeps disappearing. He's just awesome. We're great to have you here, Mark. Thank you. So what we're going to do is, whilst our judges are going to be going through their conflicts, I'm just going to read you the rules of the category which we are. So we are in the macro subcat. We are in the classic division rules. Post-production techniques may be used to complement the original intent of the capture. Techniques that beautifully correct and create a finessed version of the original capture are allowed. Monochrome conversions are allowed. The removal of pictorial elements such as safety devices, lights, stands, and assistants is permitted. Techniques that remove in-camera elements such as dust spots, digital noise, and film scratches is also allowed. Entrants where post-production work has significantly changed the reality of the original capture are not permitted and should be entered into the creative division. This includes added or duplicated elements, mirrored elements, textures, inserted/swap backgrounds, digital painting, and unrealistic extensions of the background. Composite images are allowed only where used to finesse rather than fundamentally alter the visual image. For example, head face body swaps are allowed, and HDR focus stacking stitch panorama images. And specifically for this category, images captured through a microscope are allowed. Focus stacking is allowed. We have our first 5 judges locked in. If I get a thumbs up from those first 5, can we have our first image, please?
Scott, we have a context statement for this image. Would you like me to read out the context statements as they pop up?
Yeah, I know. I just put this there pop up. Yeah, a sea slug from Duan, Philippines, approximately 4 to 5 millimeters long. The image is a crop from a full frame sensor. Just need Peter Barnes to score, please. Image scores 79. And we're going to have a comment from Gemma Sains, please.
Hi, good morning. How you doing? I scored this image 79. I think that this is an amazing looking bug. Like it's really weird and really interesting. One thing that I would suggest on slight improvement on is the direction of the lighting, and maybe cropping out some of the extra unnecessarily what word am I looking for? Unnecessity of the around. Like get right in close to that bug. It's really good. It's a really good image. Thanks for entering.
Mark, a secondary comment, please. Mark Z.
Yeah, so just watching the really strong geometry in the background, we have that kind of square element on that top right-hand side, and maybe just kind of cropping that away would have helped contain our eye right in on that little sea slug there.
Thanks very much. Great comments, judges. Congratulations for the highly commended. Can I please have the next image? Same 5 judges. I'll rotate next. Image scores 77. We're going to come to Jojo Howell for a comment, please.
Hi there. First off, I'd like to say congratulations to the entrant for your highly commended award. There's a few little distracting elements in the frame, such as that little blade of grass that's sticking up just to the right of the little mushroom itself there, that I think you could have moved, flattened down, or just taken out of the frame just to help remove one of those distractions. Potentially a slightly larger depth of field just to keep the full cap of that mushroom, which I'm sure is minute in focus, but a really, really pleasing colours, and yeah, congratulations.
Peter, have you got a comment on this, please?
Just briefly, it would. I enjoy the colour, and I'm really enjoying the way this is lit. I'd like to see a few less distractions in the background, and Joe's already commented about the grass in the foreground.
Amazing, thank you very much. We're going to have Gemma take a seat on this one. We're going to bring Ari in. Next image, please. So the context statement here: 2 dewdrops crown a single grass blade rising above the layer of haircut moss. This micro-minimalistic study reveals hidden beauty in nature's precise detail. And image scores 82. Are we all happy with that? Oh, we have a slight tentative raised hand. Mark, talk to this image, please.
Yeah, all right. So standing back and looking at the macro component is actually quite diminished in the frame, which adds so much to the sense of scale, to the place, the cool tones versus that really lovely kind of gathering to yellow pop of the green. I think it's been really well executed. And as far as executing that depth of field so beautifully, they haven't gone too shallow, they haven't gone too deep with it. It's hit it where it's should have been, and that background is just all over beautifully balanced. So I really think just getting it up. I'm not asking for a huge leap forward. It's only 3 points, silver distinction. I really think we should be commending the artist on this.
Okay, let's go to Ari, please.
Sorry, Scott, can I butt in for 1 second?
You can.
Mark actually is not allowed to challenge. He's on 85 and it's an 82, so this is not a challenge. That might have to suffice as a comment, and then we'll have to continue.
Yeah, that's fine. Okay, so image settles at a silver 82. I'm going to get a comment from Ari anyway. Let's have a quick comment from Ari.
Yeah, I got prepared. So yeah, beautiful, fantastic image. I like the negative space and the way the photographers presented the image. Very subtle, great execution in capture. The only thing that I would probably would suggest to uplift the image would have been just the crop a bit the top, because the subject is really, really strong, but that's just a tiny bit subjective. So my compliments to the photographer. I'm at 81, so I might come just a little bit higher, because I agree with previous with Mark. So yeah.
Cool, thanks very much. We're going to have Joe and Mel take a seat, and we're going to bring
a very quick comment for the artist of the last image that might just assist them in the future. In the outer areas of the image, there's some visual sort of noise banding. It's quite a grid pattern, which just to keep an eye on that when you're processing your images in the future. But I just want to compliment you on, like, this is so comical. It's like 2 little googly eyes, and I just love it. Thank you.
No worries. So this one we're going to have Ari, Gemma, Mark, Naran, and Peter in, please. Next image, please. Deep within a golden bloom, a European honeybee forages at dawn in a suburban Australian garden. This frame was a close look, but of a small but essential work about nature's silent choreography, unfolding one petal at a time. Image scores 83, but I'm looking to my left on my Zoom chat, and I think we are going to have a challenge.
Challenge, please.
Challenge from Gemma Sains. Gemma, the floor is yours.
I scored this image at 92 in the outstanding category. I really enjoy the story behind this, like the little bee is asleep inside its little flower, and the colour harmony is really well. The bee is nicely placed within the image, and I'd like to see if what my fellow judges would say about this, so we can get a few more points for this author.
Thank you, Gemma. I'm going to come to Naran. Naran, please. If you can come off mute, mate. That's...
Sorry for that.
That's all right.
I'm not mute anymore. I can talk. Yay. Just like I really enjoy it. Really lovely image. The color palette is everything is perfect. But a couple of things that actually didn't take me to the award range is, first of all, macro photography is crave for sharpness and details. And that sharpness I can't see in this. And also the other thing is the negative space is actually, it's so bright that actually needs to be darkened to get a bit more attention to the subject matter. In this instance is the thing. But saying that one, I'm very happy to hear, and I would like to go up, but just like to hear what the other judges thinking about this. Thank you.
Thanks, mate. We're going to come to Mark Z. You were bang on the average.
Yeah, excellent. Look, the story with this image is absolutely phenomenal, and so bringing that extra piece to the to the party in that sense is just incredible. It's a beautiful moment captured. What really kind of distracted me and held me back a little bit was Naran raised the point that I would have loved to have seen that sharpness wrap around the body of the bee and just to hold on those edges as a point of contrast against that bright white to really make it pop. And the other little distracting thing that holds me back so incredibly is crop off the top. We didn't need the darker, heavier blue patch at the top, which my eye just keeps on bouncing between the darker the bee and the darker the blue at the top left of the frame. But I'm happy to come up a little bit and hear a little bit more.
Okay, Ari, please, quick comment.
The other judges, the previous judges, they took away most of what I was going to say. So I wanted probably to hear a bit back from Gemma.
Okay.
I'm at 82, so I would love to come a bit higher. Gemma, please talk to
and
us.
then because we're there, we're just going to come to Peter for another comment, and then we'll come to Gemma for her right reply.
Yeah.
Most of the points I would have made have already been made.
Okay, mate. Thank you. Gemma, your right of reply, please.
Yeah. So at one point, I thought Mark was breaking into a little bit of a rap, a crop off the top, which was quite cool. Now I get everyone's comments that the sharpness it doesn't have the full kind of sharpness that we would expect, but I'd be scoring it in gold with distinction if it did have that sharpness, that it has got the detail. I think the lightness behind the bee actually brings the bee a little bit more towards us. You can see detail in the wings, and you can see that it's asleep and it is kind of just resting there. So I think that even a few more points, I think this image deserves a couple more points.
Thank you, Gemma. Judges, Gemma, you have to keep your score at 92. Currently sits at 83. Has Gemma done enough to get you up to that silver distinction? Judges, rescore, please. You got a point of 84, stays at silver. Well done. Good comments, judges. We are going to take Mark off. Going to bring Mel back in. Next image, please. Tiny but mighty, the cuckoo wasp is a dazzling parasite. Image scores 82, silver. Congratulations. Oh, Mel was straight up with a hand there. Mel, talk to me.
I'm ready just to make a comment on this for the benefit of the entrant. Congratulations for such a beautiful capture. The detail and the color in this bug are just incredible, and the way you've captured it is equally as enjoyable. I just find maybe there's a little bit of element on the left-hand side. There's some brown patches there. Maybe just cropping this a little bit tighter. We'll keep our eyes in the frame. Perhaps try a square crop just to keep the interest there and avoid us straying out of the frame.
Ari, quick comment from you, and then we'll go to very quick from Niran.
Yeah, beautiful. I love this image when it came early at the beginning, but even now. Just a quick comment about what distracted me just tiny bit is between the on the front of the two arms of the bag. There's that softness there from the stacking. Perhaps the photographer needed some extra stacked images. Would have uplifted this onto probably gold for me.
Thank you, mate. Niran, very quick, please.
The Ari articulated very well, and like a technical issue is like the focus stacking should be done a bit more carefully in this image, like Ari just pointed out. And I have to say it again. Thank you.
Thank you, mate. We're going to take Peter Barnes off, and we're going to bring Joe Howell back in. Next image, please. Goat's beard flower seed, a large dandelion seed flower found in South Africa. For those of you just joining the stream, we are judging in the macro category. Image scores 91, which is a gold. Congratulations to the author. But we have an elective challenge, but I'm going to go to Gemma Sains for the challenge. Gemma, the floor is yours.
Challenge. That I seem to be doing a lot of challenges today. Right. I really enjoy the color harmony of this image and the detail within this image from the outside edge to the center of that seed. I feel it is really sharp, and like I love the symmetry of this image, and I'd like to see what my other judges think about it.
So Gemma scored a 96, which is in the gold distinction category. So we've got a couple too far. I am going to come to Sinclair, please. Mel, talk to me.
Yeah, look, I scored this an 87, and for all the reasons that Gemma said, there's just a beautiful sense of design and artistic flair to this that stands it apart from being a scientific image, and really there's a flare of party in it, and I'm just loving the bits that are meant to be in focus and the bits that are delightfully out of focus. I really think it's an image worthy of being rewarded, and I was definitely coy at 87, so I'm listening and I'm going to come up.
Thank you for that, Mel. Ari, please. You were pretty much on the average there.
Yeah, I'm at 92, and yeah, I totally deserve. I totally agree with Gemma with this. It's such a beautiful image, so delicate and very well made, captured, and yeah, it's a great image. I I do believe it deserves gold because I'm trying to find something to pick on, but it's very hard. It's just like almost perfect. Yeah. I would like to encourage the others to come to gold too. I might come a little bit higher too, because yeah, I want to go close to Gemma.
That's all right.
Nuran, you've got your hand raised. Talk to me.
First of all, thanks for Gemma for challenging this image. Is like because I give in the gold range and like 91, but I'm definitely going to go gold with distinction because of when we look at this image talks, sings, communicates with you, and the color palette is phenomenal. Like we seeing actually the fauna is like for the best representation. Probably I haven't seen anything like this. I've seen lots of fauna photos, but this is very original image. Like that alone is actually deserve higher merit. But the same thing, also the technical side of it. I'm looking at the macro element in this. Like macro is technically one of the probably most cruel genre of photography, requires highly level of technical expertise. But photographer done perfect job. Depth of field is amazing. Where is meant to be is like a slightly blurry at the back is blurry, but the rest of the elements are sharp, talking to us. And also, if you squint your eye, you see beautiful graphic element as well. It's very welcoming image to everyone to look at it. Then also theme of that dandelion is actually like on the side, and that little greenery gives a reality. Without that one, it will be almost computer made image. But this is real image done to perfection. Thank you, Gemma, for rising up. I'm coming with you, and I'm inviting other judges to come to the gold with distinction range. Thank you.
And Mel Sinclair, please.
Surety.
I provided a comment earlier. Listening.
Joe Howe, sorry.
I'm happy to
My
have
apologies.
a comment if you want. Look, I was on 87 and I've heard what you've all said, and I feel like I will come up a couple of points. I'd love for somebody, if you can, I guess, talk to the points that were holding me back a little bit. I find just some of there's so much beautiful texture and so much going on in this frame that I want to be drawn into the center of the image where all that beautiful graphic detail is. I just find on the right hand side we've got this really dark empty patch in the bottom right hand corner, and I just keep finding that draws my eye out of all this beautiful, intricate, organized mess that's being shown there. And I guess there's also that little bit of right smack bang in the center of the frame. The blue tones in the background is just a bit lighter than the rest of it, which I know adds a bit of texture, and I like the lightness that's next to the central center of the seed pod. But I find my eye sort of being challenged and bouncing between those two elements, which is just holding me back from the gold distinction. But I'm definitely listening, and I will be coming up into gold. But I'd love for somebody to address that if possible.
Thank you, Joe. And then Gemma, your right of reply, please.
Yeah, I thought I was going to have quite an easy job then, and then Jo's come in and she's got all these things, which is fine, which is perfect. Now, to address Jo's comments, obviously, I've not put it at being perfect, otherwise I would have scored it 100, but it is very well executed. Yes, there are some minor things that could have been done with cropping, but if you'd have taken the crop in a little bit, it would have put the center of the image slightly out of the central part. We've got the problem is this is a circular kind of ball that we're focusing in on the middle. That is sharp. Going out to the outer edges is sharp. Yes, because it have lost that one point that's coming towards us that was slightly soft. Yeah, it could have done, but it gives it that other little bit of depth to the image as well. Now, to me, obviously, the brightest part and where my eye keeps on going to is the center of the image. There is a slight distraction with that lighter patch of blue at the background. But again, I'm not saying that this image is perfect, but it is a very good image. And I think that it's very artistic and it should be on a wall in very large print.
Okay, thank you, Gemma. Gemma, you're keeping your score at 96. Image currently sits at 91. Judges, rescore, please. Congratulations, we have a goal with distinction, 95. Congratulations to the author. That is a pretty big deal. Congratulations. Gemma, I'm going to take you off. You can go for a breather after that. And I'm going to bring Mark Z back in. And when you're ready, next image, please. Okay. Neola semiatra caterpillars are smooth bundles of chaotic features, a fascinating marvel of evolutionary need. I apologise, I've probably butchered that Latin name. Ari and Mark, please. Scores 82, which is a silver. Mark, I'm going to come to you, please, for a comment.
Yeah, look, I'm really enjoying this image. The little bit of framing that held me back was we have this kind of termination of that lovely gold triangle on the right-hand side, and it's not balanced with the weight of the negative space on the left, and so it kind of looks like we're traveling too quickly out of frame, even though these things probably move really, really slowly. But just a little bit of yeah. Looking at that framing could have helped improve that image just that fraction, but I think it's a gorgeous gorgeous capture.
Thank you, mate. Image scores 82, which is a silver. Mel, I'm going to give you a little bit of a rest, and we're going to bring Peter Barnes back in, please. Next image, please. So this image doesn't have a context statement. It's not essential to give it, but some authors like to let everybody know what they're looking at and maybe the challenges they might have faced when they've taken the image. I can see from the judges' screens now they're having a proper close look at this on the screens. One's even got a magnifying glass out. I'm joking, they haven't. Scores are coming in thick and fast. It's just Ari. Image scores 79, which is a highly commended. Is everybody happy with it sitting at a highly commended? I think they are. Ari, I'm going to come to you for a quick comment, please.
Thanks, Scott. I really like the way it's captured, and this bag is so unique. I found it just a little soft. It would have benefited with a bit more contrast and sharpness. But yeah, that was the only thing that led me back. Also, the the thing on the right, the piece of wood at the back, it's a bit distracting, but that's part of nature. It's mostly the sharpness that let me down. Beautiful bag though.
Thank you. Peter, quick comment on the image, please.
I also had problems with the sharpness. I love the bug. I love how it's presented, but as Ari said, the sharpness and the stick in the background have brought me down to a low silver.
Thank you, mate. I am going to take Mark Z off and bring Gemma Sains back in when we're ready. Next image, please. Known as the orange ladybug amphipod, this minuscule creature sits underwater in the black volcanic sand of Bali. It is about a millimeter in size. Now, I don't know about you, but I have hard enough trouble trying to photograph a building that's 15 stories high, let alone a millimeter. I have so much respect for macro photographers. You have no idea the time and patience it takes to sit there and get this is incredible. Scores are coming in. Image scores 85, silver with distinction. Congratulations to the author. I'm going to come to Joe Howell, please, for a comment. You were right on the average there.
Congratulations to the author, first of all, for managing to find this little beauty and for presenting it in such a fabulous way. I think it almost deserves the silver distinction just for the beautiful lighting. The light that highlights everything in all the right places and celebrating just those little, excuse me, the tendrils on the little bit of anemone or whatever that little animal is that the amphipods are sitting on. And it's just, yeah, it's really well done. If I could give you a suggestion as to how to improve it a little bit, just it's hard to control when you're shooting with flash underwater or with an external light underwater, but those little specular highlights of some of the little bits and pieces that float around in the water just cause those little bit of distractions and pulls your eye away from the beautiful detail that you can see in your little subject there. But yeah, well done. It's really the colors are just lovely and the detail is spot on. Well done.
Fantastic, great comment, thank you. We're gonna give, actually, Joe, that was so good. I want to take you off for a second. We're gonna take Joe off, and we're gonna bring Mel Sinclair back into the judging team. It's a tag team like SummerSlam 1996. Next image, please. Shutter portrait of a mantis shrimp. This image showcases dynamic blur around shrimp's appendages and eyes, emphasizes rapid movement. Image scores 82, which is a silver. Congratulations to the photographer. Nuran, talk to me about this image, please. His hands frantically waving there. He's like this. Off you go, Nuran. You're on mute still, mate.
Yeah, one of the days I'm going to master this mute thing, but hopefully today. It's a stunning image, gorgeous colors, and everything is so beautiful. I give 84, and like as high as silver goes. Just one little thing that actually I think is put me down to not going silver with distinction range is like the bottom part of the image, like the the highlights in there competing with the eyes. If it's turned down, there would have been got much higher score for my thinking.
That's
But
great.
it's gorgeous images. Congratulations to the photographer.
That's great. Thank you very, very much. Ari, you've raised your hand right before we go.
Yeah.
Ari, comment, please.
Yeah, I totally agree with Nuran, and it's a beautiful image. I found it just a tiny bit distracting, although I love those like limbs, like an X-ray human knees right in the front that also look like faces, and all beautiful. But yeah, some would have benefited this image quite a bit on removing some dust spot or sensor spots on the dark ones on the sides of the image. That would have improved it quite a bit. That's all.
Amazing. Thank you very, very much. Ari and Peter, you're going to take the bench for a second. I'm going to bring Joe Howe and Mark Zed back into judging. Ooh, there we go. Next image, please. A newly emerged Sitka rests after shedding its old skin. Its wings are soft and filling with fluid, preparing for life above ground. Image scores 84, which is the top end of the silver category. Congratulations to the author. Joe Howe, you were right on the average.
Hi there. Yeah, the image here, the detail that you can see and in that beautiful cicada and just the color of this little guy is just emerging is beautiful. And that straight on central viewpoint that really brings you right into the eyes and to its mouthpiece, and you can see the wings unfolding and just the discarded old shell down the bottom is just really well handled. I think that the wide cropping of this, there's a lot going on around that distracts from the hero of this subject, and I think that either with a little bit more careful placement or using light to hide those elements in your background, this would have really just lifted the image immensely. But it's a lovely color palette, and yeah, I just want to keep looking at its cute little weirdo face.
Thank you very much. Mark, please. Quick comment.
Yeah, I was a little bit higher on this, and I was hoping the judges would forgive the distracting background, because it makes part of the story, but the photographer has executed the technicalities of this absolutely beautifully, and maybe just bringing a color bounce card just to pop into the back of the scene the next time and get an option with removing that distraction could give you that next level image.
Thanks, Mark. That's a great comment there for any aspiring macro photographers, and a very, very bullet point from Naran, please.
Sorry, I mean, just like Mark said, what I'm going to say, the decay at the back doesn't add isolation of the separation of the eye, like a little bug from the rest of the story is very important in this matter. But congratulations for a photographer, it's gorgeous job. But if that distraction is not at the back, not competing with the focus of the subject, would have gone to higher. But gorgeous image. Congratulations for high silver for this photographer.
That's a great. Thank you so much. Image scores 84, which is our. We have a high silver. So we are just going to jump Naran off. We're going to give Gemma a bit of a break, and then we're going to bring Peter and Ari back in, please. Next image, please. This is a robber fly. Scores are coming in. Image scores 83, which currently sits at the silver, but I'm getting glared at from Ari at the top there. Ari, are you happy?
Sorry, can you hear me now?
I can hear you now,
Cheers.
mate. Are
Yeah,
you
yeah,
happy?
fantastic. Yeah, a beautiful, fantastic image of a robber fly. This thing is, it's really tiny, like probably 2-3 millimeters, up to 5 millimeters. It's like incredible photograph. This one, well captured, and it looks like the bag is alive. Capture it with a stack with such a detail. It's fantastic. So yeah, I encourage. I think this is definitely a silver with distinction. So yeah, I'll hope the other photographers see the exceptional technique and presentation of this fly.
Okay, thank you, mate. I'm going to go to Joe Howell, please.
Hello there. I do appreciate that this robberfly is absolutely minute, and they've done a great job of capturing those the eyeballs. What I was down in the highly commended area of the scoring range, mainly due to I felt the depth of field is so shallow that the body doesn't fit together. It feels very deconstructed. You've got a couple of feet, a couple of legs, and the eyes, and the rest is just sort of a shamble of shapes. So it doesn't feel like an entire creature to me, which holds me back a little bit. Also, when zooming in, it looks like there's been some quite heavy noise reduction or image sharpening used in post, which has sort of created quite a few artifacts through those areas of sharpness, and that just holds me back a little bit further. But I'd be interested to hear what people have to say about that.
All right, I'm going to come to Peter, Mark, then Ari. Peter first, please.
Joe's made a few of the points that I would have made. But I do love this image. I love those eyes, and I love the color palette, and I love how dramatic it is. It's obvious, and it seems to me to be a live animal. So to have captured that in this way is just gorgeous. To the photographer, I would think about darkening down the light in the back. I think that may make the in focus parts of the image stand out and pop a bit more and add a bit more drama. But a gorgeous image. I think I'm going to leave it at silver as it is, but congratulations.
Thank you, mate. Ari, please.
Oh,
sorry. No, apologies. Sorry, Mark. Mark, sorry. Yeah. Then Ari. Apologies.
Look, that's okay. I'm happy to leave it. I think everybody's kind of covered it, but amazing character.
Ari, you're right of reply.
Yeah. I would like to add about obviously, because the bag is so small and capturing alive, just imagine like you would have taken probably 50 to 100 images when I'm still thinking the bug is alive, but even if it isn't, it's very well captured. And I saw the little bit even on noise on when you zoom in, and when you do that on all the this kind of macro photography, it's you notice a lot of things, and that's what actually hold me back to not go on gold. So just think about it. This is the way the focus stacking is done. It's done perfectly to what the subject is showing. So this image is to be seen without zooming it in. It's like, imagine it even if it is printed on a wall and you look at it without getting too close, and you see that the robot fly just looking at you. and communicating his tough presence of the micro world. Yeah, it's look at the image a bit further away and enjoy it the way I do. Hopefully,
Okay,
you
mate.
bring a couple of more points up too.
So Ari has to keep his score at 88. It's an elective challenge. So image is currently sitting at 83. Judges, rescore, please. Image stays at 83. Still, a silver is an incredibly good result. Ari, I'm going to take you off. I'm going to bring Gemma Sains back in. And the next image, please. Green ants preparing to make a new nest. It was amazing to watch them work as a team to pull that leaf over. Image scores 82, which is a silver. I'm getting a wave in my lower left-hand screen from Peter Barnes. And I think we have an elective challenge. Peter.
Yes, I love this for the reason that the photographers put in the context statement. It is a highly, well, for me it's unusual. I'm not sure if these things are seen in the macro photography world very often, but to see these ants working in the way they are, and they're not all doing the same thing, they're not all on the same task. One of them's got what looks like an ant egg in its mouth, but the photographer has captured that so well, and the bits that should be in focus are in focus, and some of the bits are delightfully out of focus, to borrow Mel's phrase from before. It's such a well-made image, and so informative, and so delightful to look at. I think it's worth a silver distinction, folks, and I urge you to come up.
Thank you, Peter. I'm going to come to Melanie Sinclair, please.
Yeah, look, I scored this a 78 in the highly commended range, and I did that largely because I feel distracted by the sort of the red crown part in the top of the image. I feel like this is sort of pointing me out of the frame, where the action and the dynamism of these ants working together is all in this sort of middle part of the frame. There's a few quality issues, highlights on the legs. And I just felt that it could have been a bit more control exercised with the lighting arrangement in this scenario. So I am listening to my fellow judges, and I would like to hear what you've got to say.
Thank you. And Gemma Sains, please.
Yeah, I'm pretty much on the same kind of thing as Mel. The top crowning didn't bother me as much as when I go into the image and look deep into there seems to be something, some kind of post-processing that's been done that actually gives like a bit of a blurred effect. So you kind of lose a bit of the detail when you go in, and the specular highlights, like I'd suggest that going forward with the author, if you look at try and soften your light a little bit more. I find tracing paper is a brilliant kind of diffuser for images, but that, I mean, I'm sitting at silver at 81. So I think, and I've never seen nothing like this, but if you can convince me a little bit more to come up a little bit, then I'll be happy to do so.
Peter, your right of reply, please.
Thanks for your comments, fellow judges. The top part of the image, I thought about that, and to me it provides more of the context. It shows a bit more about the space that these little creatures are working in, and there's one of them's up there doing something very busily. Gemma's right. There is something that happens when you zoom in, but when you're out, it's not a problem. It would be lovely to see a bit more of clean detail when you did go in, but I don't think it affects the overall purpose of the image and the impact that this photographer's managed to achieve with what they've done. So yes, folks, please come up a bit, put it into silver distinction for me, and you'll have a very happy photographer.
And a very happy Peter. All right, so image currently sits at 82. Has Peter done enough? Peter, if you can kindly keep your score at 88, and judges, rescore, please. You got a point out of them, Peter. 83 stays on silver. Congratulations to the photographer there. I'm gonna take Joe off. Gonna bring Ari in. I'm gonna take Sinclair off and bring Ran back in. And when we're ready, next image, please. There is no context statement for this image, so I shall not embarrass myself by trying to read something in Latin. Image scores 9, which is currently sitting at a commended. Is everybody happy? Mark, talk to me about this image, please. Oh, Ari, sorry. Ari has raised his hand. I apologize. Ari, at the last minute, has popped his hand up.
Yeah.
I was waiting. Ari, go ahead.
Yeah, no worries. Let me see if I'm. Yeah, sorry, I just got in. Check the audio. What a fantastic image, a macro. No way. Like when I first look at it, I thought it was an aerial, and then I get close to it and I look at the details, and still it looks an aerial image. Yes, there is some little imperfections of dark spots and um, the blurriness on corners, but I think they like beside the blurriness mostly on the corners of the image, it actually encapsulates the frame, the center of the image quite nicely. So I gave it 88. I believe it because of its originality and uniqueness. I believe it sits in silver with distinction. So I hope the other judges would see what I see and bring up a few points.
Thank you. I'm going to come to Mark, please. Mark.
Yeah, look, it's a really fascinating approach. I love the composition, the tonality, and I'm listening, Ari. The thing that I struggled with, though, was no definitive point of focus. We're not quite really sharp on that background, or we're not quite really sharp on any of the ridges of, I don't know whether it's a salt or a chemical or something working its way through a parchment paper. I've got no idea. But my eye just doesn't settle comfortably anywhere within the frame. Yeah.
Gemma, please. You were right on the middle ground there.
Yeah, I think that I'm with Mark here. Like, I can't really find any sharp points to kind of settle in. It feels like there's a bit of a crack towards the top side that may be sharp, and then there's another little bit of the blue section down on the right hand side that looks like it may be sharp. So it leads to a little bit of confusion with my eyes, but I'm very interested to know what it actually is as well.
Ari, your right of reply, please.
Yeah, with Gemma, that last sentence that she said, I totally, I think the photographer has done it on purpose. Actually, not even put any description on it to let us just try to figure it out. And just for that, it brings the significance of this image to yeah, it makes it quite interesting. I quite enjoyed the simplicity of it as well. The two colors, the white and soft blue. I don't see really big distractions on when I'm looking at it out. So yeah, just for that uniqueness and thinking about it as a macro. It doesn't look like macro. Yeah, it plays with your head a bit. Yeah, I'd love to see if the judges can come up on this image on the
Okay.
points.
Thank you, mate. We're currently sitting at 79, so we're just out of the silver range, everybody. Has Ari at 88 done enough to raise you into silver? Judges, Ari, keep your score at 88. Judges, rescore, please. Just need Nuran to score. You did it. 82. Congratulations to the photographer. You just got yourself a silver. Congratulations. Peter Barnes, I'm going to take you off and we're going to bring Joe Howell back in. And can we have the next image, please? An emperor shrimp riding a nudibranch. These critters have a symbolic relationship with their host, hitching a ride as it eats parasites from a slug. Nudibranch. I apologise. Image scores 80, which is a silver. And we have a raised hand in the lower right-hand corner from our friend Nuran. Nuran, the floor is yours. When he comes off mute.
I'm mute, yeah. I told you I'm going to learn one of these days, you know, like crazy. Just like this is a gorgeous image and very nicely captured. I believe in everything's working, the beautiful elements. The color palette is like the contrast on the highlights and like a darker areas in the image is great. What also is like the negative space around it is just really make it image bit more attractive for my thinking. It's like I know that actually like too much black in there, but that much highlight is like in amongst this sort of darkness really accentuates the image quality much better sort of quality, and the oranges and all the purples work so beautiful, and the ways actually is grasp of that another piece of element this creature. It's captivates quite nicely, and we already given the silver. It's like but I just want you to start thinking about it. I'd like to talk a bit more about this image, and I'd like to hear your comments as well. Thank you.
Okay, Mark, please. Mark, you were off mute and you've put yourself onto mute. So
sorry, there we go. All right. beautiful color combinations happening here. You can't go wrong with that color palette. It's so striking. I love the black, but I would have loved to have seen even more black around it, particularly on that left-hand side where we've got the kind of those orangey yellow bumps just pushing up against the edge of frame just a little too tightly. And the other thing that just draws my attention is the two little dust spots just above the center of the shrimp itself. I just keep on getting pulled away from that sharp part of the eye or antenna or whatever it is, and I go bumping straight back into the black there. But I'm still listening.
Okay, we're going to have a quick comment from Joe and then Naran's right of reply.
I had scored this right on the silver range for all of the reasons about the colour and the directional light. I found the thing that held me back was the positioning within the frame and the fact that the nudibranch's lungs are just such an identifying feature of that species. And not only those, but the eyes of the shrimp itself. Like we're just, if there'd been a slightly larger depth of field just to bring some of the really important elements into the frame to give us more detail for our eye to travel around, that would have made me go further in this category. But I think, yeah, well, I think a silver is where I'm comfortable, but I am listening.
Okay, Naran, bring it home. Right of reply.
Just like everything said, and that little dust spots are, I don't think is the matters with this image, you know, like, and just like where is meant to be, where is the storyline in the antenna or little claw and the bottom. That's the most important part of this image. I think that's captured beautifully and shows the specimen is the one of the one of the best element of this specimen is everything is represents what the specimen is. And yeah, I really enjoy looking at this image, and I think it deserves a little bit higher.
Okay, thank you, mate. So, Naran, keep your score at 86. Judges, when you're ready, rescore, please. Image goes up 2 points, 82. Congratulations to the photographer. Ari, I'm going to jump you off. Naran. And actually, no, Gemma, you're going to jump off. I'm going to bring Mel Sinclair back in. She pops her head up like a rabbit out of... Ready to go. Next image, please. A male blue-banded BC sleeps alone, clinging by its mandibles. Though they are often roost in groups, this one was on its own overnight. Judges to score: Gemma, Joe, Mark, Mel, and Naran, please. And image settles at 84, but I think we have an automatic challenge given one of our judges is a little bit higher than that. Gemma, the floor is yours.
Thanks, Scott. I think that the detail within this image is outstanding. I feel like everything's captured. You could see that the bee is asleep and he's just clinging on to like his little life to try and get them few hours of sleep, away from the world and make sure he's safe and secured. I really enjoyed the blue color palette against the orange of the bee. I'd be interested to have a little bit of a rebuttal with you guys and see if we can get a few more points going on this image.
As an automatic challenge, Gemma, you do not get the right of reply. So anything else you wish to say, the floor is yours.
Just come on, guys, just get this image up there. I mean, it's outstanding. I know some of the things that you're going to say. The top of the image is quite bright. The twig may be a bit distracting behind the bee. but it's there. The beat is sharp. The wings are slightly out of focus, but we are looking at a stacked image, and the depth of field, it's got a really good depth of field to this image. So I think that we need to reward the author for this image.
Mark, please.
Yeah, look, it's a really interesting take on an insect. You know, we get used to seeing the eyes and front on and all of that type of thing, and the description forgives that really nicely. But the hero is that gorgeous kind of metallic shimmery action that's happening in the wings, and where my eye wants to go and to see more of, we just haven't got that focus stack deep enough to capture the sharpness of those wings. So that's really what pulled me back. But you know, all of that beautiful fuzz and everything, technically, you know, it's almost there, but where I want to be, it's just not quite there.
Thank you, Mark. I'm going to come to Mel, please, as well.
Yeah, I scored this an 89 in support of Gemma. I found this to be really delightful. This hairy little man having a big old sleep here, and that's what I really love about it. The image is really clean and really beautiful. Yeah, I'm in support of you, Gemma.
Joe Howell, please. You were waving at my lower corner, so off you go.
Yeah, I had this sitting in the silver. There were some negatives that were mentioned about this, which would definitely keep me out of the gold area. I find that the angle of view on this, while it is nice and central and shows the antenna and everything, all the detail that I'm wanting to look at is either not there, or your eye is brought straight into the center of the bee's back, where the fur is missing, and there's a bit of a highlight on its exoskeleton there, and it's just, there's nothing to reward my eye once it gets there, if that makes sense. I feel like there's so many different angles, a slight change of direction that could have really told a lot more of this story. We talk of the mandibles holding on to this stick, but there's no hint of that. A slightly higher view, and maybe we could have seen some more of the eyes or face. It's just, it doesn't quite have that punch and story that I'm hoping to see.
And Narana, quick, please.
Everything said, and I'm happy to listen to. Just like we heard everything, and just like I don't want to reply, and just want to rescore.
Okay, so as an automatic challenge, Gemma, you do have the option to rescore. Image currently sits at 84, so we're at the top end of silver. Has Gemma done enough, and the comments you've heard from the fellow judges, to bring it up higher? Judges, rescore, please. She did it, 87, silver with distinction. Congratulations to the photographer. Gemma, I am going to take you off now. You can go for a little lie down after your 95. I'm going to bring Peter Barnes back in for the next image, please. After protecting itself during pupation by appearing dull and lifeless, this Jezebel nymph bursts into the world as a whirl of colour. Image scores 82. Mark, please.
Yeah, really enjoyable image. I'm torn between the tension between the red at the bottom and the red in the wing, though. I think maybe just losing that bottom would have just helped bring that up a little bit. Just lifted it and really brought your attention right onto the butterfly.
Thank you, Mark. Congratulations to the photographer. Scores 82. I'm going to bring, actually, Mark, you can have a rest now. And I'm going to bring Ari back in for the next image, please. Amber sap drips and clings to a textured bark, capturing the tree's silent essence of liquid gold. Ari score, please. Image scores 86, but I have a little wave in my left screen. Mel.
I'd like to challenge this one, if I can.
You may.
This is just sublime. The colors, the textures, the richness of this amber that is oozing out of this trunk. Its placement of the frame is gorgeous. It's clean. I say it's gorgeous. I really encourage my fellow judges to have another look at this. This is very textural and luscious and just something wonderfully refreshing. It's almost animalistic. There's a bit of an eye there. It's staring back at me. This is a gorgeous piece of macro photography, and I really want to hear from the rest of the panel.
And you're going to hear from Peter Barnes next. Peter.
Sorry, I'm having trouble with it. I'm on now. I agree with a lot of what Mel has said about the drop of amber. It is gorgeous. And it's beautifully photographed. What has held me back is the fact that we're not really sure from looking at the photograph what we're looking at. If there was more telling of the story of it being on a tree and showing what's the phrase in the context statement, the textured bark. If we could see more of the texture of the bark and realize that it is bark, then I think this would be a much more powerful image because of the extra story that would be in there. But extremely well done, and I just love how that drop looks.
Thank you, Peter. And one more comment from Joe, please.
Thanks for challenging this and giving me a bit more of a chance to have a look at it. It really is a beautiful image. I see a snail shell almost in that bubble within the bubble of the sap that's coming down the tree. I was a bit challenged by the treatment of the light outside of the sap. We've got this really contrasty golden sap, and then we've got quite a blue tone and very soft light to either side. It almost feels too flat around the side, like the black that's to the edge of the frame. If that I'm just not quite sure why the photographer didn't punch that up a little bit more and really just help to give this image a bit more strength, make it a bit more dynamic, I guess. And I'm not entirely convinced that we needed as much of the height, but I am listening because I'm really enjoying this, and I feel I may have been a bit low in my score.
Thank you, Joe. And Mel, your right of reply.
Yeah, I thank my fellow judges for providing some words and some further things to talk about. So thank you, Peter and Joe. In terms of what we're looking at, the tree, the texture, there's enough there to see that it is something wooden and something with some texture. And there's just been enough of that has been shown in the image to provide this. In terms of the color, yeah, the snail, absolutely, Joe. I see that 100%. That's part of its beauty. And even if this wasn't amber, we could imagine this was like honey on a chopping board, for example, with this same kind of feeling, the same kind of texture. And it's much, yeah, we see these kinds of pieces of symbolism all the time. And to address your comment of the blue tone in the darker areas, I think it matches really well with the golden tone. It's a complementary color on the color scale. And together these two really complement each other in a way that's effective storytelling in this picture. Regards the height obviously the ooze and the drip and trail is part of that luscious sort of sexy feeling of it. So I think it really gives it something intriguing and interesting to look at. And I really hope that if not a gold, that maybe my fellow judges could come up into the high silver distinctions.
Thank you, Mel. Mel, you keep your score at 91. It's currently sitting at 86. Judges, rescore, please. Image scores 88. Congratulations, you got your silver with distinction. We're going to take Joe off, and we're going to bring Mark Z back in. Bless you. And next image, please. Dysfunctional family. Male Australian native bees from the Hippocrates genus. A handheld focus bracketed image assembled in helicon focus. The background is natural grass. Peter, please. Image scores 91, which is a gold award. Congratulations to the photographer. Round of applause. I'm going to come for a comment by Peter, please.
I just had to smile and literally laugh out loud when I saw this. It's apart from anything else, I love the humour in it. But what we've got three perfectly photographed bugs, not one, not two. We've got three with a perfect background and no distracting elements of any significance at all. So brilliantly done and so gorgeous to look at. So congratulations.
Thank you very much, Peter. 91 is an outstanding score. I'm going to take Melanie Sinclair off this and bring Gemma Sains back in. Next image, please. Ari, please. Image scores 83, which is a silver. And Gemma, talk to me about this, please.
Hi, Scott, thanks. I think maybe you might have seen me do the old photographer's crop. I really enjoy this image, and the sharpness that's in the face of the insect is really good. There's a couple of like little distracting elements, like there's a little mark on one of the leaves, but there's a lot of yellow over to one side. So if the author in future references maybe crops in a little bit, plays with the crop a little bit, I think that could give a few more points on this image.
That's great. Thanks, Joe. Very tight score in there for the author. That was all pretty close scores as well. So settled at 83 silver. Ari, going to take... No, sorry, Mark, we're going to take you off. I'm going to bring Joe Howe back in to help me pronounce some Latin. Next image, please. Oh. Dozens of native Lassoglossium bees form a tight defensive cluster on a branch, showcasing communal survival as they bunker down overnight. Judging's Ari, Gemma, Joe, Naran, Peter, please. Image scores 85, which is a silver distinction. Congratulations to the author. Joe, correct me on my Latin and comment on the image, please.
Not a chance. This is a great example of how macro can show us behavior that we may never see otherwise. The poses of these little bees are fantastic. I particularly love the one at the top who is sort of looking straight, almost as if he's looking into the camera. The cropping's quite nice. I think that potentially to bring this up a little bit would have been some selective dodging and burning or bringing down the highlights of the branch on which they're standing on, particularly to the green areas to the very edge of the frame. But yeah, really beautiful image. Love all those antennas and want to know what those little sensory extra eye things are on top of their head. So I'm going to Google later.
Thank you, Joe. Great comment. Naran, you're going to take have a breather, mate. I'm going to bring Mel Sinclair back in. Next image, please. Just Joe, please. Image scores 89. Is everyone?
Yeah, I'll challenge that.
I thought you might, Gemma Sains, off your.
I was just
chat.
trying to work out how many points Pavel was and whether I could do it or not.
So you have a challenge from Gemma Sains. Gemma, you're sitting at 94. Challenge, yes, shout challenge. This floor is yours.
Yeah, so I really enjoy this image now. Obviously, one of the rules of the macro as well is that you can't bring in texture into the images and stuff like that. So this has been shot with that texture around this image. The bug being so central is really good. So I believe that I'd like to listen to what some of the judges are going to say with regards to why we can't bring this up a few points.
Just going to come to Mel, please, and then Mel.
Yeah, the design and innovation in this image is what immediately struck me. I'm in support of you there at 88 for its silver distinction. And I just found it really intriguing and really tension grabbing. That yellow really bursts off the page, and I'm listening and I'm willing to come up.
Thank you. And Ari, you were almost with Gemma, not quite, but talk to me.
Yeah, I'm on gold. I'm on 90, and yeah, I agree with Mel. Definitely, the way it's presented, the design of the image, it's just outstanding. How the photographer has done it, like it's incredible. The back photographed at just also the capture, the execution is just fantastic. With just enough depth of field to let the edges just soften and blending in with the texture, with a background, and getting it from the bird's eye view from above. It just, what a choice! I really love this image. I think it deserves gold.
Thank you, Joe. Quick comment before Gemma's right of reply, please.
I'm really enjoying the graphic nature of this image. I'm just not finding the sharpness across the subject itself, which I'm assuming is not going to move very much. So and that graphic element of the square around the side. Upon closer inspection, there's a few issues with the line along that. But I've awarded it as an 88. Just for the design and the graphic and the color. But if you could address that, I'd love to hear it. Thanks.
Gemma, right of reply, please.
No worries. So with regards to like it being in a gold, it's an outstanding image showing excellence in concept, craft, and impact. The image definitely has impact. It's a round object fitting inside a square hole. Now, normally we use that concept the other way around, like square peg in a round hole, or vice versa. But we've got something that's shot differently, and we need to be rewarding that. I'm not saying that it's absolute perfection. Yes, there's some areas, but we're talking about shallow depths of field here. So to be able to get it and have that whatever's sitting on the outside, like in focus, with the insects being in focus, while it's curled up, possibly sleeping, it takes a lot of technique. Now, could it have been sharper? Possibly. However, like when we're sitting back and looking at it a bit from a distance, it's something that again could go on someone's wall somewhere. So I'd like to judges to have a little look at it again and just have a rethink around the scores. Thank you.
Thank you, Gemma. Keep your score at 94. Currently sits at 89. Judges, rescore, please. Image scores 91. Congratulations, photographer. You have your gold. Fantastic job. Peter, you're going to have a little rest now, mate. I'm going to bring Mark back in. Next image, please. Wraparound spiders are specialized for camouflage on twigs, but here is a choice of green seed as a perch leaves it unusually exposed. Image scores 84, which is a silver. Joe, you were exactly on 84. Comment on the image, please.
Fabulous, like that little face. I'm actually quite arachnophobic, but I'm not scared of this little dude. It's a great central position, looking straight at it, and just it really draws us into that adorable little fuzziness. It's the colors are really nice, and the repeated shapes of the seed pod on which he's sitting on is great. The glaringly obvious thing that could fix and lift this image further is removal of whatever that element is to the right of the spider that's sitting there. I wouldn't be sticking my fingers near him, so I'm not surprised that it's still there. But yeah, really a lovely image, and potentially a square crop just to really add some extra strength to that, to your composition. But really lovely.
Lovely, thank you, Joe. Ara, you're going to have a rest, and we're going to bring Naran back in for the next image, please. Image scores 84, which is the top end of silver. And I'm going to come to Mel Sinclair, please, for a comment.
Yeah, that's a beautiful image, and I really applaud the photographer for having some patience to capture so much detail and so many water drops. The image just has the highlights are just a little bit too blown for myself, and maybe just controlling that a little bit more would help it achieve some strengths, and also just pay a little bit more attention to the background. I think it's just still overpowering that main subject just a little bit too much.
Amazing. Thank you so much. Joe, I'm going to take you off for one, and we're going to bring Peter Barnes back in. Next image, please. Wraparound spiders are specialized for camouflage on twigs, but here its choice of green seed as a perch leaves it unusually exposed. Image scores 85, which is a silver with distinction. I'm going to come to Mark, please. You
Yeah.
are at 85.
Yeah, really enjoy the composition. This little guy is fantastic. The depth, we're just starting to lose it a little bit too quickly. I would have come up had I seen the whole thing in focus. I really think this could have been pushed well into the gold range, but really well done. I think it's a well-earned silver distinction.
Great comment. Thank you, Mark. We're gonna bench, which sounds horrible. We're gonna take Mark. Actually, you're gonna come off. We're gonna bring Joe back in. The next image, please. Thick and fast now, guys. It's perfect. An intimate view of two fungi standing in unison, their fine details revealed by focus stacking. Image scores 83, which is a silver. But I'm going to come to Peter Barnes for a quick comment on this one, because Peter, I think you enjoyed this one.
I did enjoy this. This is like something out of a well-illustrated fairy tale for me. I expect to see a little elf there somewhere, but I couldn't find him. But it's just beautifully done. The background is handled so well, and the two fungi being intimate in such a touching way just really tickled my fancy. And congratulations to the photographer for making this delightful image.
Thank you, Peter. Naran, you also enjoyed this.
I did. Peter explained everything very nicely, and just like a beautiful piece of work to look at. And just like I don't have much to say. Peter explained what I already said.
Lovely. Thank you, mate. We're going to have Mel take a seat, and then we're going to bring Ari back in, please, for the next image. The picture shows the fruiting body of a slime mold with a dewdrop and reflections of other fruiting bodies, approximate size 2 millimeters. We have a 91, which is a gold. Congratulations to the author. Incredibly tight scoring there from all 5 judges. We're going to have a few comments on this one, because I think we have a lot of love to give this one. Ari, his hand is coming up and down like a jack-in-a-box. Ari, off you go, mate.
No, I just wanted to compliment the photographer for such a beautiful image, and the way it's presented this very, very, very well done in all the aspects. Like, I really love it. I could see a little bit of softness in foreground and also the background, but yeah, the way it's focused on right on the action, which is inside the thing, the drop. It's just outstanding. Compliments, well done to the photographer for the gold.
And I think because we're all incredibly tight here and we're all pretty much thereabouts, I think the author is going to really benefit from some feedback from everyone here. So, Gemma, I'm going to come to you next.
Yeah, hi. I really like the colouring of this image. One thing that I'd possibly look at for next time with the author is in the droplet, whenever you're taking like these macro images up close and you've got a reflection of elements behind, you need to be a little bit more careful on what you're capturing in behind the scenes. That there's some elements there that are a little bit distracting. You can see like the softbox potentially from the top of the side, and there's something blue and a little bit red in that droplet, but just be aware of that and maybe slightly change the angle of your camera to get rid of them kind of elements.
Sorry, Gemma, I cut you off there. Joe, please.
Congratulations to the photographer. This is a beautiful little composition here. And little, I mean little. I was in gold with everybody else, pretty much. There's a couple of little elements that haven't been mentioned. The background, there is a dark, almost halo that follows the slime mold, the top of the slime mold there, which just, if that was dealt with a little bit more, that would lift this image even higher. But congratulations on the gold.
Thank you. Naran, then Peter, please.
Just again, like everyone else's congratulations, I'd like to congratulate the photographer. But what the photographer gave us in here, piece of information about surrounding and how these little the things, elements live in the nature, and so cleverly done that actually showing the upside down version of it, what's behind it. And in fact, that actually that little hallowing, I quite like it because of it is there, you know, like it's not really affecting it. But overall, this photograph is represents an actually beautiful work to show how this surrounding, how this, how did I don't know what to call them, and what do you call this one? Sorry. And
this is
mold.
A slime mold.
Slime mold. And I never knew what slime mold is, but this is a great introduction to me, and I got a knowledge out of it. You know, like this is one of the most amazing aspect of the photography, give someone to knowledge, and this is definitely tick that box. Congratulations again to the photographer.
Thank you, Naran. And Peter.
I haven't got much to add except to what the other judges have so expertly said. I just want to congratulate the photographer and tell them that I really enjoyed this image, and like Nuran, I very much enjoyed learning a bit more about slime mold. But so well done.
Thank you, Peter. We're going to take Naran and Peter off. I'm going to bring Mark and Mel back in for the next image, please. Ari, Joe, your scores, please. Thank you. Image scores 84. I thought Mark might raise his head, but Ari, I'm going to come to you.
Yeah, I just put my head now. Yeah,
So we have a challenge from Ari. Ari, off you go. Ari's challenging the score of 84 to bring it up to, well, tell him.
To gold, definitely gold. It looks like a DJ, and this is a gold disc. He's winning the gold disc. So well captured, right on the bank for the focus on the disc, which keeps the point of focus right on, also on the bug. I forgot what you call this, and when you get close to it, it's like it's moving, it's spinning it. But yeah, the design of this image, the lighting is outstanding. Totally deserves gold. I encourage
Thank you, mate.
other judges to come up. Gold, please.
Thank you. Gemma, please.
As you know, Scott, in the UK over here, we've recently had an infestation of ladybirds. I'm not too sure what's been going on with them at the moment. I really enjoy this image when I sit back and look at it. However, the things that stopped me scoring higher is that the detail is kind of gone in the ladybird. There's some kind of post-processing that's been taken on, and it's all a little bit blurry. And on that circular element, whatever it is, I'm not too sure, that with the lines, there seems to be some kind of processing that's been done, and all the lines don't kind of meet up, and it gives a very strange effect. I would like, if them elements was done better, then I would have been going a lot higher than what I have done.
Thank you. Mark, and then Ari for your right of reply, please.
Yeah, look, I'm glad I wasn't hanging out by myself. I thought I might have been for those little technical points that have been mentioned, but we're looking at such a visually striking, ingenious composition. The play of light around that circular object alone just balances out the placement of that little ladybird so marvelously. The lighting design on this is just gorgeous, and the play between the rigid hexagonals versus those, the imperfect spot on that ladybird just really makes it. He's got a battle scar. This isn't his first rodeo. He's out there again. I just think there's just so much lovely interplay between shapes, color, texture, light. It's got a feel of polish, and I think coming up and just I agree it's not a high gold, but I really want to reward the entrant for this image.
Thank you, mate. Ari, your right of reply, please.
Yeah, as Mark said, like this image is so complete, so almost perfect. That addressing the softness that Gemma pointed out rightly, it's I saw that and I mentioned that at the beginning. It's like it's moving, but the focus is spot on. It's on basically on that contrasty white and black connection close to the head of the bag, and even when you zoom in, it makes you think that it is moving. It's like in motion. The bag, this picture is alive, and sits so calmly, although it's moving. And yeah, I totally believe that this image deserves a gold.
Thank you, Ari. Thank you for those comments, judges. Ari, you stay at 93. Everybody else, you get the opportunity to rescore, please. Stays at 84. Stays at high-end silver. Unlucky. But congratulations, silver is by no means a bad result. It's an awesome result for the photographer. We are going to give Joe and Gemma a rest, and then we're going to bring Peter back in. So Ari, Joe, Mark, Melanie, Peter are my next judges. For the next image, please. just going to bring Naran back in for this one. Sorry, Naran, if you can just jump in here quickly, mate. Thank you. Image scores 79. Is everybody happy with it scoring at 79? I have a wave and a muted challenge from Peter Barnes in the bottom hand corner. Peter, you have the elected
I'm
challenge. The
challenging.
floor
I'm
is yours.
challenging.
Yes, I could see the mad manic wave at the bottom. So the floor is yours, sir. Peter, you've gone back on mute, mate. Sorry.
I scored this at 85 because it's so delicious. I just want to eat it. I've no idea what it was. Perhaps a context statement might have helped, or maybe it put me off wanting to eat it. But it's so lovely. It's not all in focus. There could be some more depths of field. The background's handled reasonably well, but there's a little bit of distraction there. But the colours are just so lovely, and it's placed so well. It's just a delightful image. I'd urge you all to come up into silver at least.
Okay, Mark, you go and talk to this.
Yeah. Look, I agree with Peter. It's got something about it. It draws you in. The more I look at it, the more the bright red element at the bottom really just pulls me past where my eye wants to land. And when I get into the those crunchy areas of the ice crystals or whatever it might be, I think it's on the leaves or the crystalline structures. I kind of get confused when I look into those. Is it actually artifacting in areas from over processing, or is it the edge of the sharpness of the ice itself? But I think there's a little bit of over processing going on, and that red element is just kind of holding me back from really putting it into the award range.
Thank you, Mark. I'm going to come to Niran because you were the closest to the average score there, mate. Off you go.
Again, is like just like what Peter said, is a delicious image. Like, like that alone gives so much impact, and I think is worth to award range because of the color balance. Everything works very, very nicely. The bright redness is actually, first of all, and your eyes goes there, but directly you bounce to top of where everything meant to be. And there is a very nice flow in the image. First, when you enter that bright red area, I agree with what Mark said there. But then again, it's very unusual to see that seeing something like this needs to go to the award range in that alone. Like it's a, yes, of course, it can be a little bit darker that accentuate the highlights, and but if it's like the highlights are accentuated with the properly, like it's handled well, probably gone much higher sort of result. But I think worth silver. I'm just like with Peter with this one. Just we need a couple of more points from you guys that actually congratulate this photographer's vision and eye, and giving us something very unusually not much seen seen the little frame from the nature. Thank you.
Thank you, mate. Peter, right of reply, please. You're still on mute, mate. Sorry. You're on mute there, buddy.
Thank you, Niran, for helping me so well. I'll just say that the red in there just adds, for me, adds to the deliciousness. There's something about seeing that colour there with the rest of the image that provides a balance, provides an addition, provides something extra. And I think the whole thing is worth at least a silver, and I'd urge you all to come up a couple of points.
Thank you, mate. Image is currently sitting 79 at highly commended. Did Peter do enough and Naran to get it into silver? Judges, rescore, please. Peter, keep it 85. You did it. 81, silver. Congratulations to the photographer. I'm going to take Naran and Peter off. I'm going to bring Joe and Gemma in. And I'm sad, everybody. This is our last image, please. Our Poultice, a tree stump spider, rests in the tiny gum nut, camouflaged by day, waiting to spin its web at night. Just Ari, please. Image scores 85. That is incredibly tight scoring across the board, everybody. Congratulations to the photographer, silver distinction. Mel Sinclair, please.
It's a gorgeous image, and congratulations to the photographer for capturing something that feels a little funny in terms of just the way the spider's hiding. It's almost in plain sight. It's like the equivalent of, anyway, the story is just sort of streaming through my head, and it's incredible. I really love the way the photographer's placed this spider on the gum nut in a central composition. The way I feel like heaps of eyes are looking at me. It's really engaging. The only thing I would potentially suggest to improve is maybe keep that top and bottom balance a little more. It's a little bit close to the bottom of the frame with the gum nut, and there's a bit more space at the top. Consider having an equal balance, and maybe put it in a square, and then I think yeah, it's going to look really good. But congrats to the photographer. It's a beautiful image.
Yeah, congratulations again, 85 silver distinction. And that concludes the macro category here at the APP. I've had so much fun trying to speak Latin and learning all about many things here in the UK just simply don't exist. But I'm going to hand back to Robin Campbell to bring this home. Thank you, Robin.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Scott. That was such an incredibly intense category in terms of the level of detail, and loved your panel mentoring. I think you definitely got the best out of our judges, who in turn gave incredibly detailed feedback. I'm sure everyone watching will be bringing their macro photography to the next level. So well done, everyone. So that brings us to a close of the online judging of the macro category. Thank you to our entrants. You've submitted some amazing work, and I truly believe we've seen some of the best macro imaging there is to be seen this year. If you didn't make it in the top 30, take on the feedback, listen, learn, and yeah, try and bring your images to the next level next year. Thank you to Daniel, our competition director, and director of judging, Chris. You guys are doing an amazing job behind the scenes. Helen and Nathan, thank you for keeping things running smoothly in the background as well. And of course, thank you to our valued sponsors, Nikon, ASO, KEL, Godox, Ilford, Photography Studies College, and Print Shop. You guys mean a lot to us, so thank you for coming on board. So thank you, audience, for tuning in. We hope that you watch this in replay many times over and continue learning. Australian Photographic Prize isn't just about winning. It's about learning and improving your photography and bringing it to the next level. So we hope that you take that spirit on board. We will have the winners for this category announced during our live awards next Sunday, the 20th of July, from 5 o'clock. So tune in. In the meantime, we will be back tomorrow at 7 o'clock Australian Eastern Standard Time for the judging of the Wedding Classic category. Until then, have a great night and thanks for joining us.
Wow, photographing the way I do, but with my colors, this will change everything.
I got to see each frame, each position of its wing, and they're so beautiful that I have never seen before.
Being able to move quickly and working at my brain's pace and getting those shots in the moment. Having this camera allows you to go out and create the way you want to create.
Until you use it, you cannot even imagine what you have missed.
It's something I've never seen before in my entire life. It's something totally different.
Nikon Z6 III. Outperform.
Introducing ISO Color Edge. Precision is essential for any professional working with images. Whether you're an artist, a retoucher, or a visual effects specialist, you need to know that what you see at the start of a project is precisely what you'll get at the end. Color Edge monitors give consistent, reliable accuracy that guarantee no surprises within your color workflow. So what you see in real life is what you see on screen, and what you see on screen is what you see in real life. That's precisely why professionals all over the world trust ISO Color Edge for their image creation. ISO Color Edge. Discover living, breathing color.